A very good morning, it's Fabio and welcome back to another daily market outlook. So EURUSD has pushed up higher and broken the daily fractal structure right over here. So what is the daily fractal structure? The daily fractal structure is the structure on individual candlesticks. So what we can see is this clear downtrend in towards lows. We swipe the lows and then we see pretty much a liquidity grab and then a reversal back in towards the highs. Now we've broken this daily fractal high, meaning that we could now seek further upside, as this could be the confirmation for a pullback after this overextended move in towards the downside. Now there are two areas here on the daily time frame that I have my eyes on for further upside. That is this area of demand over here, so this light blue zone, and this dark blue zone over here. So what I'm going to be looking for is confirmation inside of those zones on both the 4-hour and the 1-hour time frame to then identify, okay, do we get that change of character? Do we get that confirmation that we are looking for before looking for any potential longs? That could, for example, be from this area of demand over here, or obviously that lower area of demand on the daily time frame, because on the daily time frame the demand zone is clear, but on the 4-hour, to be honest, not very. Looking at this sell before the buy candle, if you would draw it from wick to wick, it's already been filled. If you draw that lower zone as well, it has also already been filled. So I'm not a big fan of EURUSD longs at the moment, just because on the 4-hour time frame I cannot identify a very clear zone. Therefore, just keep an eye on the daily and then drop down into, for example, the 1-hour time frame if you can find any refined areas of demand. But yeah, it is looking good for a potential further push up. Obviously, there is NFP today, which is going to cause a massive move within the market. But let's see and keep our eyes on both of these two demand zones, as for now they do look good. Now going into the dollar index, the dollar index has started obviously to pull back. The daily candle closure underneath the daily fractal low confirms the shift in trend for now. So your daily fractal high is this high over here. This is your daily fractal low. So what now could happen is that we just simply see a pullback in towards this buy before the sell, and then we drop off down lower from it. Again, anything can happen with NFP, but it is looking very good for a further sell-off here on the dollar index, which should fuel further moves in towards the upside on both euro dollar, Aussie dollar, Kiwi dollar, and pound dollar. So that is all I have to say really here on the dollar index. It is inside that daily area of supply. The 4-hour is also not very clean, pretty choppy. Therefore, just focusing really on what the daily is doing, and the daily is telling me at the moment that supply is in control, and therefore I am not interested in taking any shorts on all those major dollar pairs that I just mentioned. Now, going into our Aussie dollar next. So Aussie dollar has seen a further decline in price. Obviously, the daily is still bearish. It is very different to euro dollar, just because also it's fundamentally a lot more bearish than it. As you can see over here, the overall trend is still clearly in towards the downside. We haven't even made a full pullback yet in towards the 50% fib level. Now, what I'm looking at on Aussie dollar is just potentially with NFP a further push up, and then we'll look for a short back in towards the downside from that daily area of supply. At the moment, the market is just consolidating ahead of NFP and of course also the elections, but let's keep an eye on what will happen inside this area of range. I'm not interested in trading this. I'm only going to be interested in looking for a potential short if we reach that 4-hour area of supply, which is also daily supply, and then if we get bearish confirmation, then I'll look for a short. Otherwise, obviously, it could just continue up higher and higher. So that is what we have our eyes on for AUDUSD. If it just sells off from here, I'm happy to let it go. And then what I'll just keep an eye on is, again, a retest inside this new area of supply. And then again, look on the lower time frame for bearish confirmation to then sell it off. So that is what I have my eyes on for AUDUSD. Going into GBPUSD, what we can see on GBPUSD is, again, a nice sell-off in towards the downside. I did mention that I was not a big fan of it on the lower time frame. Again, the 4-hour was extremely consolidative and messy. But what happened eventually is that if you get mess on the lower time frame, just hop up a time frame and go into the daily. And then what did we see on the daily? We saw that the fractal structure was respected beautifully. So you can see push down, pull back in towards that 50% mark, which we explained in yesterday's video, and then a further sell-off in towards the downside, with the market now reacting to this area of demand. So I would not be surprised to see a further push up before NFP, and then yeah, let's keep an eye on what will happen from there. But for now, the demand has pushed the market up higher, back up in towards, let's say, this overall area of supply, which we now have our eyes on for a potential further sell-off. Or if we can break it, then next week maybe we have some longs on our hands to take out all the liquidity above these descending highs. Okay, so that is what I have my eyes on for now. Going into NZD-USD, NZD-USD has again sold off further, but it is also consolidating quite a bit. As we can see, it is fighting between this demand zone and this supply zone. For now, the fractal structure is still this low over here. Your fractal high is still this high over here. So we have just simply seen a nice pullback in towards the highs here, above the 50% mark, and then again just sold off in towards the downside. So as I mentioned, I'm not really interested in shorting this at the moment, only until we kind of form some new structure, and otherwise if you want to look for longs, then I'm going to just simply be waiting for that daily fractal high to get broken over here, and then we could look for a potential long. So shorts are still more interesting, but the dollar index is not looking very good, and obviously we also have NFP and the elections beginning next week. Therefore, I'll just let this move for now as it is, and we'll just wait for either new structure to be formed, and then we start targeting the lows once again. Or if NFP turns out bad for the dollar, then we'll just see a spike up. Maybe, who knows, then that daily fractal structure change, and then next week we can look for some potential longs on entity USD. And then for the rest, you can just see here that we're just consolidating, obviously. So it's not very interesting to trade at the moment. Going into gold, last of all, gold saw a massive sell-off in towards the downside. So I discussed this actually yesterday inside Discord. What I was looking at was, okay, can this area of 1 hour demand provide us with any bullish confirmation? Well, it could not. As you can see, it just chops down lower and lower. No real bullish confirmation inside this 50-minute or 1 hour area of demand, excuse me. So we've just seen a deeper correction, which is actually a good thing, because obviously the overall price on gold has been pretty overextended. So you do need to see some pullbacks every now and then. Something like this should now form once again. So I'm just going to let gold consolidate for now. We have reached a nice area of previous accumulation, and that often leads to another area of accumulation. So let's just see what gold does for now. What I'm going to be looking at is maybe we can swipe the lows one more time here on gold, and then see a further push back in towards the upside. For now, daily has just pulled back in towards its demand zone. So as you can very clearly see, it is a sell before a buy. This is just your daily demand zone. So this is what we have our eyes on for now to push the market here on gold back in towards the upside. So now look on the lower time frame to see, okay, can we get a change of character, and then look for those potential buys again, not just randomly buying on an area of demand, but we really want to see the market want to push back up in towards the highs. So yeah, that's it for today, mainly focusing on some pound pairs for now, looking at potential pound longs. So yeah, got my focus on that, not really focusing here on the dollar pairs just because of NFP and obviously the elections early next week. See you guys in today's live session at 1:30 Central Eastern Time. Thanks for watching and have an amazing day.